Hi, we're Tony and Debbie Underwood, and we're excited to be here with you. And we have the opportunity just for a few moments to share our story with you. And this is not to what's the word? This is not to sell you on what we do, but maybe we can inspire a few people that are looking at this to say, you know what? If they can do this, then we can do this. Okay? Originally, we're from England, and we emigrated back in 1983. And you can see the guys try to put a kind of a picture behind us of England. So, I mean, I guess it looks a little bit like England, but we're from the south of England in the country. And 30 years ago, we decided to emigrate to this great country. And my wife will tell you in a minute about her profession and why we did that. But 30 years, I wouldn't have changed anything. We came over just for a couple of years. In fact, when we landed in 1983 in Chicago, we came with $400 and 4 suitcases. And we thought, well, we'll just go here for a couple of years and try to make some money in America, then go back again, and here we are. So for those of you out there that don't believe this is the land of opportunity, then you haven't probably traveled enough, because other parts of the world, people are so poor and they don't have the opportunities like we have. So in 1983, we landed here, and we didn't have anything, and Debbie, as she'll tell you in a minute, was a physical therapist. And well, why don't you go ahead and tell them a little bit about that, Deb, and then we'll come back to what I'm going to talk about.
Right. Well, we always had a venture in us. I don't know about any of you, but we always wanted to do something more than the average person. And I was a physical therapist, fully trained. Tony just had a job in the corporate world, and we were looking for something more. And we decided that we'd love to come to a different country and see what that could offer us in the way of opportunity. So that's exactly how we got over here. I got a green card because of my profession, and Tony came with me, which was kind of good, right?
She dragged me, really. That's what the problem. I couldn't come without a green card.
Okay. So when we got started here, it was all new. It was a lot of struggles to get started. As you can imagine, we lived in a nurse's accommodation for about 6 weeks. We got real close to one another, and we started building up. We started working hard, because a good work ethic is important for any kind of success. We started making more money than we'd ever made in our lives before. We were doing things that we'd never done before. It was a wonderful time. We got into a lot of sports. We were skiing. We were windsurfing. We were doing anything you can imagine in the sports field and having a lot of fun. And then things changed a little. We started a family, a little bit more responsibility. And at that time, we got moved down to Atlanta because of your corporate job, right?
Yep.
And during that time, while we were trying to get ourselves established in Georgia, a couple met me in a restaurant, and they said to me, "Have you ever looked at different ways to make money?" Well, of course, I was the ideal person to prospect, because I said, yes, my husband and I are always looking for new ways to make money. And in fact, what we'd really like to do is we'd love to have our own business one day.
You know, and at that time, I was working in the corporate world for a big chemical company. I traveled every single week for the last, I don't know, at that time, 10 years. And with 3 little kids at home, they were all under 6. We had a 6-year-old, a 4-year-old, and a 2-year-old. And we didn't have any family over here. We had no babysitters. We didn't have anything. We just the 2 of us and our 3 kids. And so, of course, you know, the excuse for me was, hey, we don't have time to do anything else because we're already doing 70, 80 hours. And so I was gone from week to week. And that was kind of a challenge for us. And I believe that's a challenge for a lot of people that look at this type of business or opportunity that we're sharing with people. But Debbie did come back, and she said, I met this couple in a restaurant, and they want to come and show you something, and it's a business opportunity. And I said, well, what is it? He said, well, I don't know. I said, what do you mean you don't know? He said, I have no idea. I said, would you know this couple? No, not really. So I said, you've got a strange couple coming into our home to show us something we know nothing about. Well, how would you feel? I mean, I was already negative before they even came. And so they did come, and they shared an opportunity with us in this industry, and I got to tell you, I was not that excited. In fact, if I was honest, I was probably a little rude to the guy. And so they were a real nice couple, and we kind of went to a meeting after that. Remember that? Went to a meeting, and Debbie dragged me to a meeting.
Yeah, I was excited about it.
Debbie was excited, and we went to a meeting. And of course, the meeting was supposed to start at 8 o'clock, and by 10 after 8, you know, the meeting hadn't got started yet. So with my personality, I'm thinking, all right, what's the scoop here? It hadn't started, you know. And so I was already in the negative mode, and it was funny because a lot of these these meetings that we go to or used to go to or still do, people come out and they're all excited. And I couldn't relate to that. I'm thinking, all right, let's get down to the details. Show me the details, okay? But we did get started, and we had very, very limited success. In fact, we only sponsored 2 people in the first 9 months, and then after the 10th month, we were down to 1. So we were really fired up, right?
Absolutely. But there was a missing ingredient, I think, in what we were doing. We were excited, we were motivated, we were ambitious. However, there was one important ingredient missing, right? What was that?
What was it?
What was it? You did not have a willingness to start to learn.
Oh, yes. See, I didn't want to be reminded about that. Yes. But, Bo always talks to us about, having focus, ambition, and willingness to learn. Well, I had 2 of them. I had the ambition and I had the focus, but I didn't have that was a joke, by the way, but it's English. But, I didn't have the willingness to learn. And so I had to take quite a bit of time to learn this industry and where we're going to go with this.
Yeah, I think one of the most important things in our story really was learning about how to do this business. And that all came from the tapes and the books and the CDs and the DVDs that we watch, because very slowly we started to learn what we needed to say and how we needed to say it, what we didn't need to say and what we didn't need to do. And we started to put the picture together so that we started sounding successful. And then we started having some benefits, right?
Yep, we did.
Things started happening.
And it's funny because if I hadn't seen this industry, I may or may not have a job still. And I'm not saying jobs are bad, but we would never have had the time freedom. We had 3 kids that Debbie homeschooled our kids, and we were able to travel with them. And I tell people all the time, there's nothing like, taking your kids on and travel around the world. And I'd rather, put them in the Colosseum in Rome than show them a picture of it. I'd rather have them feed a kangaroo in Brisbane, Australia, than a picture of it. I'd rather take them to the Sistine Chapel in Italy, or go to Egypt and the pyramids, or go to England, which they've been many, many times, or to Japan or China. We've been fortunate to do that. And if we had a job, I couldn't get that time off. I would have had to ask permission to take off. And I don't want to ask permission to take off. I just got to ask Debbie, should we take it off? And she says, yeah, we agreed. So there's just 2 of us. We made the decision. And so that's what this does. It gives you time freedom. You don't have to be a millionaire. And I don't believe that most people in this industry will become a millionaire. But I do believe that anybody that plugs into the Pinnacle group will, or if they want to work, okay, they can make $100,000. And if you have very little debt and you make $100,000, most people don't make $100,000. You can live a good quality life, and that's real. I don't think it's real when somebody says you can make $500,000 a week. That's unrealistic for the average person. But you can make a difference, and you can make a lifestyle where you can travel, or you can do the things that you want to do without somebody else telling you what to do. So there's one thing I learned years ago, and that is that you're either going to decide your own destiny or somebody else is going to decide it for you. Either way, it's going to be made for you, or you're going to make it. Wouldn't you agree, Deb?
Absolutely.
Yep.
And I think the most precious thing in your life is the memories that you build with the ones that are closest to you. I just can't explain how important it's been to me and our family to be able to have all that time with our children, to be able to guide them through life. And they've turned out to be pretty good kids today. Hopefully they're not listening to this. They don't need to know that. But, it's been wonderful to be able to do all these things and create memories that are there for a lifetime and beyond.
Exactly. And your kids watch what you do and what you say, and they still want to travel with us today, even though they're now in their 20s and one's married. And we set goals with them. We just took them on a cruise just a few weeks ago because we hit a certain goal in this business. And when we hit the next goal, we asked them if they wanted to come on a Mediterranean cruise, and I don't think one of them said no, did they?
No.
Nope.
No.
They just got to get the time off college and the time off work. And so we enjoy doing that. That's what we enjoy. But you've got to decide what you want. And I hope that we give you some, or somebody that's watching this, some belief. We're not professional public speakers. We're just Tony and Debbie that came here from England with nothing. We bumped into the right people at the right time. I've known my mentor in this, Bo Short, for 20 years. And is he perfect? No. But he's a person of integrity, and he does what he says he's going to do. And that's all you can ask for. If you're willing to, put the work in and put the effort in and don't quit, you can make a really good living for yourself. So we're just trying to be real with you, and nothing flash or nothing. I don't even have a tie on, even though a lot of the people wear ties, and I'm not a tie person, but that's okay. It doesn't matter. You can just be yourself, because people don't want to know how much you have or where you live. They want to know what you become, and your kids want to know what you become, right? That's the most important thing, is what do you leave? When you die, because you will die one day, you don't have any control over when you're born, and you don't have any control over when you die. But what you control is the dash in the middle, okay? And that's important. What are you going to do with that dash in the middle? If it's 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, or 60 years, or whatever it is. So I hope this makes a difference for somebody on this, listen to this. So thank you for listening to us. Deb, any final thoughts?
Make your dash count.
There you go. So there we are. Have fun. See you later.